Okay, so what I want to talk about real quick is different types of securities out there. Now, we already mentioned this briefly when we talked about different paths in the beginning of the course, but I want to talk in a little more detail right now, just so we all understand that there are many branches in this field and that there will be something interesting for everyone. One of the first securities that we got is mobile security. Now, this one needs no explaining. Mobile security is a cybersecurity field that deals with the protection of portable computing devices from threats and vulnerabilities. Devices such as phones and laptops can easily be stolen or found in public places, cabs and offices, and among other places as well. And from a cybersecurity perspective, what is more worrying is the amount of sensitive data that can be recovered from the lost or stolen devices. Besides that, most mobile devices are already logged in to social media accounts, emails, bank accounts, so if the device gets stolen, it will be pretty easy to get access to all those things. Now, one prevention or measure that you can do to prevent losing your device is to turn on device tracking, which exists in both iPhone and Android. On iPhone, it's called Find My iPhone, and on Android, it's called Find My Device. Next thing we have, which is also quite important, if not the most important, and that is software security. As we know, any program is software, and having bugs in softwares can result in critical vulnerabilities. That's why it's important to regularly check for any logs that might indicate software acting weird or not doing what it's supposed to be doing. And even more important is to check for security bugs during the production of that software while it's still not published. Besides this, we also have something called advanced data security. Nowadays, data has become a primary target in many cybersecurity attacks, and more individuals and corporations are opting to spend more money and resources on securing their confidential data. Every day, there are more reports of data breaches where users' data is stolen by hackers, and this landscape is constantly changing. A data security engineer's job is to prevent this and to focus on giving the right data to the authorized users as well as prevent any data breaches. This is a really promising position, as we have already mentioned, and it's currently on a rise due to all the recent attacks. Another thing that is also promising is focusing on cloud security. Today, cloud is being used more and more. Now, even though it made everything easier and solved a bunch of problems, there is one main issue here. Whenever you use cloud, you're trusting a third party with your data and your security and privacy. This is a big concern. That's why cloud vendors will try to hire best cloud security experts to make sure their clients are happy and that their data is well protected. As a cloud security expert, you will have the skills to ensure that data and systems are secure on the cloud platform. You will ensure that apps running from the cloud cannot be manipulated by third parties, and you will also ensure that the data stored on the cloud is secure and cannot be accessed by unauthorized parties. Another interesting position is being a penetration tester. This is the most fun since you get to hack stuff legally. Companies pay you to break into their systems and discover as much vulnerabilities that you possibly can. Whether them being critical or low vulnerabilities, it doesn't matter. Besides this, another big thing today is something called DevSecOps. Now, you probably have heard about DevOps, and DevSecOps is rather the similar thing, or same thing, except the fact that anyone involved in a software development is responsible for bringing together development and security. Initially, security used to be an afterthought, and the development team would build the software first and then integrate security into it. DevSecOps pretty much discourages this and instead enforces a new development approach where security is tightly coupled with all other software development phases. And last but not least is Internet of Things security, which is another thing currently on the rise. IoT devices are being targeted by hackers and are being used as points of entry into organizations or homes. Since the devices are normally connected to a network, hackers are breaching the devices and navigating through the network to attack other devices on it. For instance, a hacker might breach an Internet of Things device and get into the network to spread malware to all the computers sharing the same network with the device. Someone who is interested in being an IoT security expert has to do several things. First one is to understand the IoT process as well as understanding the engineering of the product. And with that knowledge, he can then secure the device and implement a security policy. It is already expected to have more and more Internet of Things devices in the market in the future, so security jobs in this field will also increase. Okay, so we mentioned different types of securities in this field and gave an in-depth view on what all of them are focused on. Now, there are some of them that we didn't cover since we mentioned them previously, and those are something like incident responding and forensics. We talked about that before. And pretty much the idea behind this topic is that there is a place for anyone in this field. Whichever path you choose, you won't regret it. Now that we know the basics of cybersecurity, what it does, what it protects, what are blue team and red team, and what type of securities are there, let's dive straight into the first topic ahead of us.